What if the secret to perfect health had nothing to do with doctors or diets or medicine at all? In this explainer, we're diving into a pretty radical idea from one author that our well being is shaped by an invisible blueprint deep inside us. And it's a blueprint that we actually control. So let's just jump right in with a provocative question. What if all the things we tend to think of as just random bad luck, getting sick, a chronic disease, even a car crash, what if they aren't random at all? What if they're actually predictable results of something else going on entirely? Well, the core argument we're looking at is that our physical reality is, in a way, predetermined. According to this author, any negative thing that happens in our lives, especially when it comes to our health, is the unavoidable result of a flaw that already exists in our own internal blueprint. And this internal blueprint, that's what the author calls the life structure. Now, the best way to think of it is as an invisible, non-physical mold. The idea is that this inner template is what dictates the shape and the quality of everything in your physical life, from how healthy you are to the situations you find yourself in. Okay, so how does this life structure actually work? Well, to help us get our heads around it, the author uses two really powerful analogies. First, you've got the farmer's analogy. It's pretty simple, right? Any farmer knows that to get a great harvest, you have to choose the absolute best seeds, the plumpest ones from near the root of the plant. If you cheap out and use those withered little seeds from the tip, well, you're going to get a poor crop. The quality of the seed completely determines the quality of the harvest. And the second comparison is the factory. Imagine a factory that uses a perfect mold. Every single product that comes off that line is going to be perfect. But if that mold has even a tiny, tiny flaw in it, every single product will have that exact same flaw over and over and over again. So the whole point the author is making with these stories is this. Your physical body, that's the product or the harvest, and your non-physical life structure is the mold or the seed. So if you want to fix any health problems, you can't just treat the symptom, the product. According to this philosophy, you have to go all the way back and fix the original mold. This, of course, leads to the million-dollar question. If this life structure is so all-important, what in the world actually shapes it? Well, the author's answer is surprisingly simple. It's our consciousness, our thoughts. Now, to support this pretty big claim, the author points to those well-known water crystal experiments, arguing that our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, can directly change the physical molecular structure of water. And this is the chain reaction that's proposed. It goes like this. A positive thought, like gratitude or love, is said to create these beautiful, symmetrical molecular structures. This builds a perfect life structure, which results in great health. But on the flip side, a negative thought, like hate or annoyance, supposedly creates ugly, flawed structures. And that leads to a flawed life structure and ultimately to disease. So if we follow this line of thinking, it leads to a total redefinition of cause and effect for our health. And the implications go way beyond just catching a cold. The argument is that the real cause of any health issue is never the physical thing you see. It's not the car that hit you, it's not the fall you took, it's not the virus you caught. No, the idea is that it's a pre-existing defect in your life structure that made that physical event pretty much inevitable. The problem was already there, just waiting to pop up. And the author applies this logic to, well, everything, from chronic diseases and cancer to accidents like a car crash, getting bitten by a snake, or even being burned in a fire. All of these things are presented not as random chance, but as the physical manifestation of a flawed inner blueprint. And the other side of this is just as absolute. The claim is that a person with a perfect life structure, one shaped by positive consciousness, is essentially immune, invincible. They won't catch the flu. They won't even catch the plague. And if they were in a plane crash, the idea is they'd be the one to walk away totally unharmed. This exact same philosophy also gets applied to what we eat. The author puts forward a secret of diet that really has nothing to do with calories or nutrients. So here's the next big question. Can our mindset actually have the power to change the very nature of the food we're about to eat? The author argues that yes, it absolutely can, and that this is the real secret to nutrition. And we get some pretty relatable examples for this one. You know how it is. You're drinking with friends, the vibe is joyful and harmonious, and it seems like it's really hard to get turned. But if you're drinking in a tense environment with people you don't like, it happens way faster. Or eating while you're happy leads to easy digestion, but eating while you're angry or stressed leads to a stomach ache. The key variable, according to this view, isn't the food or the drink, it's your mindset. So based on this, the source lays out a kind of mealtime ritual. It's a four-step process. First, you approach your food with genuine gratitude. Second, you actually talk to your food, tell it it's beautiful and smells amazing. Third, you try to feel the food's joy in getting to nourish you. And finally, you receive its now optimized energy and nutrition. You're basically pre-digesting it with your consciousness. So after all that, what is the ultimate prescription? It really all boils down to one single unified conclusion. The author shares this little personal story to drive the point home. He talks about how his eating habits are super irregular, pretty unhealthy by most standards, but he almost never gets sick. His wife would joke, kind of jealously, that he must have just been born with a healthy stomach. But he insists that's not it at all. The secret, he claims, is his deep, unwavering attitude of gratitude and love for whatever food is in front of him. And that brings us right to the ultimate takeaway. The author is proposing that the most powerful medicine isn't a pill or a procedure. It's a state of mind. A positive, grateful consciousness is what supposedly shapes that perfect life structure while at the same time optimizing the nutritional value of everything you eat. And so, we're left with a final, lingering question. If we take this perspective seriously, that our thoughts are the actual building blocks of our physical reality, then it kind of makes you stop and think, what are you building with your thoughts today?